Hi, I'm John Butler. 6 years ago, my partner and I launched an arts fund to help foster dreams of emerging and established artists. That's how we first heard of a young musician, Lachlan McCarthy. And although he struck us as talented, it was his personal story that stayed with us the most. Australian story has been following Lachlan through his make or break year at school, and just like his life, it hasn't always been easy. This is his story.
Come on, mate, it's time to get up. Second last exam.
This is the most important year of my life, doing the HSC.
How are you feeling?
Tired.
Jeez, switcher. Come on then, up you get.
I would really like to go to the Sydney Uni's Conservatorium of Music, and to do so I would not only need to be able to perform really well on the day for the audition, but also to have really good marks to back me up even more. I'll be right. Music's my only choice, and that's my only option. That's what I strive for.
Well, this time tomorrow.
One less.
One less, and nearly there. You're done. Done and dusted.
Everything depends on these exams.
Isn't there an essay? Has to be an essay.
All my thoughts and everything just goes into what I have to do, and it's really hard and really scary. I've spent most of my life living in this Housing Commission house. I'd really like to overcome the stereotype of the houser. In doing so, showing people that come from public housing can still achieve whatever they want.
Time, top bus date. Go. What else do you need?
Nothing.
Roller? A tractor?
No,
Any
no.
of that stuff? If he doesn't get into Sydney Uni, I think it will shatter him. We've got to go now. We haven't got time to muck around. It'd be just awesome for him to get into uni because of the amount of work that he's put into his studies and the amount of dedication he has to his music. Really? They don't let you have water on your desk?
No.
Well, what if you have anxiety or get all nervous and dry in the mouth?
They'll give you water.
Or a cup, plastic cup.
I think it's very important for his mum that Lachlan does succeed in life.
Every exam I do about 6 of them.
7.
When you have an event, as we have had in our family, that just sort of, shakes the foundations of your whole life.
You're right.
I think it's just more important for her to know that he'll be a survivor and not have this event of the past sort of haunting him for a long time.
Okay, so once more, the major scale, the Mixolydian, A Mixolydian.
I guess I started to believe that I was a bit of a musician throughout my senior years of school.
Yeah, good.
Just because I was doing so well in music. I guess the thing that attracted me mainly to the guitar was John Butler. His music's had quite a big influence on me. Learning how to play guitar like him. When I was 13, me and Mum hopped on the John Butler website and we saw that he had started up an arts grant called the JBC.
The committee that we put together to go through all the grants brought Lachlan's story to my attention.
Hi, my name is Lachlan McCarthy. The second song I'm going to play is Hurdy-Gurdy.
And the spirit that was within this application, his mom and his story just caught us all. It was like these people very much deserve the very small amount that they wanted.
We needed money for violin tuition. Mum, being a single mum, found it hard to pay for that every week. It was a big help for us to have an extra $800 at the time.
For someone to just go, this kid could be recognised for something, it was just so moving for me. Financially, I guess it's hard. I work for the New South Wales Police as a payroll officer and have done for the past 20 years. Lachlan's been going to Catholic school, and with that comes fees.
Sheree put a lot of things aside so he could go to a private school and get the best tuition that he possibly could.
It's amazing.
It is.
And if that meant, you know, her and him having to live in Housing Commission, well then so be it, that's what it meant.
Things can get a little bit dicey in the neighbourhood. A few years ago I had all my fence palings pulled down and the park behind me caught on fire.
Probably the worst things about living in these areas are the stigma attached to it.
He was teased that we had no money and that because we had no money he had to eat dog food for dinner. That we were less than, I guess, because we lived in Housing Commission.
We've never really had vast amounts of money. I guess sometimes I wish that I didn't know about it, that I was oblivious to the situation, I didn't have to worry about those things.
When a child doesn't have both parents around, I think it can cause problems in that child's life. And with Lachlan, he had to sort of lie, I suppose, about where his dad was.
I left school when I was just on 16 years old. When I was at school in the early days, I always dreamt of being a school teacher and doing my HSC and going to uni. But I become ill with an eating disorder, so I left sort of halfway through year 11. I met Carl when I was 22 and he was 18, and not long after that we decided to go away. So we went on our venture around Australia. I guess it was a lovely relationship until a certain time and things changed. During the course of our relationship, Carl indicated to me that he grew up with physical abuse. He was angry a lot and responded with violence.
I had no idea that the relationship was as volatile as what it was. Sheree was pregnant and she told me that she had to ask him not to hit her because she was pregnant.
Carl and I were no longer living together, but Carl used to come and visit and maybe stay a night and then go again. I'd been out on an Australia Day event with friends and he wasn't happy with that idea that I'd been out, and with that there was an argument and he pushed me, and when he pushed me I fell into like a glass plate table, kitchen table, and fell back, and I was 31 weeks pregnant then. And I stayed in Westmead Hospital for a week with a hind-water leak, and I gave birth to Lachlan, and I was only 32 weeks pregnant.
Lachlan was born early and he had to go into intensive care, and I think for any mother that's a big deal. She couldn't hold her baby, you know, she couldn't go in and put her hand in and stuff, so she was very upset at that.
Does it feel good? Yeah, it sure does.
I was petrified that I was going to lose him. I was so frightened about the whole situation and what had come from the violence and the fear of losing that child.
He's beautiful, isn't he?
And in the background, Carl was there and had, realistically, he brought my son on early from Beltamy.
I don't really have many memories of my father. When I was 4 or 5, I used to go down and visit Dad at work. He was a bricklayer. I guess I enjoyed that because I got to spend time with him and hang out with my dad at the work site sort of thing. It was quite a fun, manly type of thing to do.
Lachlan idolised his father. He loved him so much. Lachlan had started school and things started to alter with Lachlan and his father's relationship. Carl changed. He started to become incoherent. You couldn't speak to him anymore. He didn't work anymore.
When my father used to turn up unannounced when I was little, I used to not really want to see him because I didn't know what kind of state he was in. And I used to hide in my room, hoping that he wouldn't come inside and see me.
He lost everything, all because he was smoking pot. He resorted to crime. He was in and out of jail for the first few years of Lachlan's life with break and enter. Every time Carl got out of jail, he would go to either Nonna or my house. I started being quite scared. There was a look in his eye that actually frightened the hell out of me. And I guess because of that I was quite fearful for both Lachlan and I.
Nonna was my great-grandmother on my father's side. She was very close to me and very dear to me as well. Dad and Nonna were also really close. Nonna was the only person that accepted Dad even though he'd done bad things.
The last conversation I had with Nonna was on the Friday morning, and she rang to warn me that Carl was out and that he was on his way to her house. She asked him to leave. With that, he became very aggressive and angry and said no, he didn't want to go anywhere, and she said, no, Carl, you have to go now. And she proceeded to ring his father. Carl yelled abuse and said if he come home that he would kill him, hung the phone up, and with that proceeded to stab Nonna to death in the entrance of her house. And they found Carl 5 or 6 kilometres away from there in a service station, just sitting there, unaware of what had happened. He didn't know what they were talking about. And he was covered in blood when they found him.
What can you tell me about the red substance that is on the rear of the right-hand boot and also on the top of the left-hand boot?
I received a phone call from my girlfriend to tell me that Nonna had been killed and that Lachlan's father had done it.
What do you know about that?
I dropped the phone and I screamed. The pain that I felt at that moment was so intense. I thought that he was capable of it. But I never thought he would hurt Nonna. He loved her so much. Lachlan was about 10 years old when Nonna died, I remember. His little face was distorted when I told him what his father had done. The pain in his eyes and the tears that just rolled down his face.
It was just a very, very, very big shock. I understood what had happened, although I couldn't obviously fathom such a horrible incident.
It was a particularly hard time for our family after Mum's death. It's a sort of thing that sort of happens to other families. You never think that one member of your family is going to be so violently traumatised by another member of the family, really.
I think Carl had a mental illness for years, and I think that if he wasn't treated like a criminal, then maybe the direction of this situation wouldn't have gone where it did.
That's a sample of your DNA on that swab.
Carl was never tried for murder because he had an abnormality of the mind, which was schizophrenic in nature.
He's still in a psychiatric hospital to this day.
I haven't told people about what my father did. Sometimes I got a little bit worried that if they did know that they would judge me a certain way or think that I might become the same person or something like that. I've always kind of had a little bit of a fear about becoming someone like my father.
When I look at Lachlan now, he's a spit out of his father's mouth.
Yeah.
Lachlan's trying to prove to himself, more than anybody, that he may look like his father, but he's nothing like his father.
Kyoto.
All right, Kyoto Protocol, good.
But just recently, he had a bit of a meltdown with the pressure of studying and trying to succeed and do well, and finds that if he doesn't do well in these exams, then he's a failure. And with that, he's a failure like his father. He lost it in his bedroom. He said that he just could not do this anymore and it was just too hard, the pressure that he put on himself. We got him straight to the doctors that day and she referred us to Blacktown Mental Health Unit, and they had discussed that Lachlan's depression now was major depression and that he would need to be put onto antidepressant medication.
I was pretty nervous going in there, as I didn't think that I needed it to be escalated to that level, but in hindsight I guess I did. I knew about mental health issues from a young age. Mum had suffered with depression.
Hi.
Hello, love.
It's been horrible. This journey into this HSC year has just been the worst thing in the world.
How'd you go?
Good.
Feel confident?
Yeah.
No, my son.
Tell me about it.
At times I thought that I was going to lose him because I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel because he was so sick.
No, serious. Did you do well? Do you think you did well?
Yeah. Pretty well. I wrote heaps for the essay.
Yep.
But everything else... The problems that I was having happened right in the middle of the trial exams.
That's important.
I didn't do as well as what I'd hoped. 2 more.
Okay then, gentlemen, this is our last lesson just as we're going towards the HSC, and we'll probably use global environment as...
The next 5 weeks will be pretty hectic, I'd imagine. A lot of study, a lot of late nights to get ready for my HSC.
Now we're going to step back. We're just going to have a look at the potential questions they're going to be asking you for your exam.
It's 12 o'clock and I can't sleep. Thinking about school, all the work I'll do tomorrow. It sucks. I'm really very, very tired, but this seems to be the problem most nights these days.
The morning of the music exam. The weekend's been really horrible. Friday afternoon, Lachlan found out his support person for his jazz piece pulled out.
Yeah.
So he won't be back till Monday morning.
Or Sunday night, yeah.
So...
And he's already playing for someone else's HSC in the afternoon.
What are you going to do? Wait for phone calls? What are you going to do now? I guess I was mothering a little bit too much, trying to make sure that he was okay, and that was really annoying him. Ring him again. Ring him on my phone.
He doesn't do anything on Sunday.
Why haven't you been prepared before now? I don't get it. Explain to me what's going on. Why?
I didn't intend on having to bloody run around after stupid rhythm guitar.
He said no. You just haven't seen him to practice. The preparation for this has been crap, basically, and now as we speak, I'm hoping that he's focused and got his head together because he's about to do his exam.
Do you need a photocopy of this, sir?
At this moment, he's actually sitting his exam, and I am so stressed and worrying that he's got his shit together. I just can't believe the intensity of this moment because I know how he feels about his music, and this one exam overrides anything else that he's done. It's all about this HSC music.
What are you crying for, love? Yeah, good as evening.
Good?
Yeah.
Did you do well?
Yep.
I'm on my way driving to pick Lachlan up from his last exam today. Lachlan's finished school. I'm really, really proud of him.
That's it, it's all over.
Congratulations. It's finally finished. School.
You're probably more relieved than me.
Oh, no, I've just been emotional all day.
Really?
Do you know how old I feel today? Done and dusted. Oh, my God, we did it. Well done. You're the first person in the family to do it.
I know, it's pretty good, eh?
How good does that feel? That's just an honour in itself. Now the waiting game, the results.
Lachlan McCarthy from Patrician Brothers Blacktown.
I know Lachlan's final year of schooling has been quite tough. I first came to know about Lachlan and Cherie through the New South Wales Youth Scholarship Program. A $2,000 scholarship which was to help them finish their HSC. Within the application there was a particular letter which Lachlan had written that spoke about some of the adversity that he'd experienced.
4 years ago, whilst having a drug-induced psychosis, my father stabbed my great-grandmother to death. This has left an emptiness in my life that can never be filled. I try to fill it with my love and passion for music.
But the overwhelming aspect of that letter was the tremendous attitude that Lachlan had. There was no self-pity, there was no victim mentality evident. Lachlan's application mentioned the fact that he'd been so inspired by John Butler. Housing New South Wales runs a mentor program for young men and women who do have particular aspirations and goals in particular fields, and it was important for Lachlan to be able to get that exposure to someone within the industry.
John, man, nice to meet you, brother.
We took on the initiative to make that contact.
Pleasure and honour to meet you.
Likewise. You're the bomb, you're everything, man.
So you finished your year 12?
Yeah, just.
Congratulations, man. That's huge.
Thanks.
That's such a massive couple of years.
Yeah.
17 years old, I don't even know what I was thinking at 17 years old. But
I would have to say this is probably one of the best days I've ever had. Finally meeting my idol and being able to sit down and chat to him and play guitar.
he basically was playing guitar the same way I play. It's quite profound and surreal to play one of your songs with a young man who you've supported in a small little way, and there's a real reciprocal respect that's going on. And the language for this conversation is one of my bits of music and also his interpretation of it. It's kind of hard to put into words, and as I said to Lachlan, when words fail to describe things, that's when music steps in. Nice one, brother. Nice one.
After Lachlan met John Butler, he was on a high for days. But not long after, the reality kicked in and it was back to work, stuck in shelves and waiting for the results to come through. I was quite concerned whether he would do well enough to get into uni.
Morning, love. You up yet?
Yep.
Come on, let's check our results.
Okay. We got up quite early the morning the results come in.
Ready?
Yep. Let's go. Oh my God. You did awesome.
That's pretty good, actually.
You did awesome.
My music score was 88, and that was above and beyond anything that, you know, I could have thought I'd even get considering the circumstances. All my other results were really good too. Legal studies, 81.
Band 5.
Far out, that's mad.
Oh, that's great. That's better than what I expected.
That's pretty good,
That's heaps
actually.
better than what I expected. The day after Lachlan got his personal results, he got his scaled marks to see if he got into university. They were a bit disappointing. He didn't get into the Sydney Conservatorium of Music, but he got his second choice, which was the Australian Institute of Music.
I've been at uni for a few weeks now. I came off my antidepressants and I feel good in myself. It's such a good feeling to be able to go to a place where I just sit back and just play guitar and listen to lecturers speak about music. It's such a great feeling to know that I've achieved what I set my mind to.
This is it. This is where he wanted to be. It's all about his music. That's what his life will be from here on in now. He's just got so much life in him and so much to give to the world.